There's one character conspicuously missing from all the trailers for the final Downton Abbey movie, and fans have definitely noticed. Could it just be an oversight? Or is there a deeper reason for keeping him out of sight? Let's dig into the curious case of Thomas Barrow, what the trailers aren't showing us, and how this final chapter might shape the legacy of Downton Abbey, both upstairs and down. Downton Abbey. The grand finale is being treated as the end of the road for the Crawleys and their loyal staff. Of course, Julian Fellowes hasn't shut the door completely on future stories, but for now, this is being billed as the last hurrah. That makes it only natural to expect closure for every major character. And yet, when we watch the teaser and full-length trailers, one face is noticeably absent: Thomas Barrow. While just about every other returning character makes at least a brief appearance, from Lady Mary and Lord Grantham to Anna, Daisy, Baxter, and Carson, Thomas, who's been part of the series since day one, is nowhere to be found. And it's not as if the actor Robert James-Collier isn't in the movie. He's confirmed to return. So, where is he? To understand what might be going on, we have to look back at where we last saw Thomas. At the end of Downton Abbey, A New Era, Thomas left the estate to become the personal assistant and housekeeper to Guy Dexter, a charming actor from Los Angeles who had taken a liking to him. But let's be honest, the job title was just a smokescreen. This was really a romantic pairing, a way for them to live together in an era where being openly gay was still illegal. For Thomas, a character who spent much of the series struggling with loneliness, identity, and self-worth, this ending felt like a huge emotional victory. It gave him peace, a future, and most importantly, love. Now, in the trailers for the grand finale, we do see Guy Dexter front and center. He appears to be starring in a play in London's West End with several familiar faces, Anna, Bates, and Baxter, shown clapping in the audience. So naturally, the question is, if Guy's here, where's Thomas? There are a few possibilities. One is that Thomas is simply living a quiet, happy life now. Maybe he's backstage during Guy's performance or waiting at home. Not everyone needs to be part of the central drama this time, especially if their arc has already reached a satisfying conclusion. The other possibility is more intriguing. The filmmakers are keeping Thomas's story under wraps on purpose. Maybe they're saving his appearance for a big emotional moment, a surprise visit to Downton, a heartfelt reunion, or a powerful reveal. It wouldn't be the first time this series delivered a quiet build-up to a deeply emotional payoff. What we do know from the trailers is that this movie leans heavily into change, and the challenges that come with it. Lady Mary is taking on more responsibility from her father, Lord Grantham, but the transition seems rocky. There's even talk of a potential scandal involving Mary, and the economic backdrop of the 1930s looms large over the Crawley family. By this point in history, the Great Depression was taking a toll on Britain. Agricultural prices had plummeted, tenant farmers were struggling, bank investments were risky at best. Old money families like the Crawleys, who relied on traditional income sources like land rents and trade, were suddenly vulnerable in ways they never imagined. It's not far-fetched to think that Downton itself could be at risk, perhaps even on the verge of being sold. That's where things get really emotional. Because if Downton is lost, it won't just be the Crawleys who are affected, it'll be the staff, the people who've spent their entire lives serving the estate. The maids, the valets, the cooks, the butlers. They are the soul of Downton Abbey. Imagine the heartbreak of watching them say goodbye. Carson, too proud to express how much the house meant to him. Mrs. Having finally found freedom, love, and purpose, Thomas could bring a new perspective to Mary. He might be the one to remind her that the world is moving forward. And maybe Downton needs to do the same. Could that mean opening it to the public? Turning it into a museum or a paying venture? It would be a beautifully poetic twist, the former footman offering advice that helps save the estate. And the Crawleys themselves may be facing even bigger personal losses. It's possible they invested heavily in American stocks during the roaring 1920s, only to be devastated by the 1929 crash. Watching Lord Grantham grapple with the guilt of losing family wealth, while Mary tries to stay pragmatic and lead them into a new era, could be one of the most emotionally charged threads in the film. She's always been more forward-thinking than her father, and now that pragmatism may be the only thing holding the family together. Meanwhile, the villagers beyond Downton's gates are likely struggling too. Maybe Daisy's family farm is falling apart due to crop prices. Perhaps Mr. Mosley's brother lost his job in a nearby factory. Showing these ripple effects grounds the story in real-world history and reminds us that while the Crawleys fear losing their legacy, many others are just trying to survive day by day. And yet, it's not all bleak. The Depression also pushed people to think differently about charity, business, and class. Imagine Isabel stepping up to organize help for struggling families in the village, or Edith using her magazine to shine a spotlight on ordinary people affected by the downturn. These moments of resilience could give the story a hopeful tone, even in the face of so much loss. So, where does that leave Thomas Barrow? Maybe he doesn't need to be at the center of the drama this time. Maybe he only shows up briefly, or not at all. But if we're meant to believe that he's finally out there somewhere, living a peaceful life with someone who loves him, then maybe that's the best kind of ending we could ask for. Downton Abbey has always been about change. Painful, slow, sometimes resisted, but always inevitable. And if this movie can show that even in the face of collapse, something new and good can take root, then it will have done justice to the legacy of the series. What do you think? Is Thomas's absence in the trailers a setup for a surprise appearance? Or is it just a quiet way of telling us that he got his happy ending off screen?